You just reminded me, and of course everyone's been thinking about him a lot lately, Norm Macdonald. But one of the reason I bring up Norm is Norm, you were describing everybody was following the same rules as a talk show host, which is, okay, you've got to come on, you've got to come up with 3 or 4 stories, they've got to have a beginning, middle, and then payoff. It's got to be something that really happened to you. Norm was this Picasso who decided the eyes don't have to be where the eyes really are, the nose doesn't have to be. He blew it all up, and he would tell stories that were completely fake. I know. They were 100 years old, they were corny jokes, and he would just tell them like they happened to him.
I'm from a little town, it's called Monkland, and it's only 108 people.
108, that's small.
It's country, you know, it's really rural. And but man, I'll tell you, there's lots of funny stories from there.
And I remember the first time he did that, me talking to him and thinking, okay, well, he's got these different, you know, I don't know what we're going to talk about here. And he'd come out and he'd go like, hey, Conan, how's it going? And I'd be like, oh, Norm, what's going on with you? I bought a farm. I'm like, what, you bought a farm? He'd be like, yeah, I bought a farm. I got 3 daughters, each prettier than the next.
There was a guy, man, he lived down the road. His name was John Neil Mergerison. And this guy, I went to him once. I've been away for a couple of years, you know. I moved to the city, you know, and I came back. And I said, John Neil, how you doing? You know, I went to his what do you got, farm? And
yeah,
So he showed me his pigs. He had a bunch of pigs there, you know. He had a bunch of pigs, a bunch of them. And one of the pigs had a wooden leg, you know.
And Andy would be sitting there, and Andy's from the Midwest, and he'd be like, wait a minute, I know this joke. This is a joke my grandfather told me. And he'd be like, my grandfather told me.
He says he's mature, and I think it's because he's telling my grandfather's jokes.
Stop it, both of you.
One has a peg leg, the other has an eye patch, and the third one, she had a wheelbarrow, and it's just a joke. And he would do it,
dresses it
and
up
he
as a
would
story.
dress it all up, and I would think, you asshole. That's the most genius thing in the world, because who really wants to hear what a celebrity, you know, we're all like, well, there is that funny time that I over-tipped a little bit, I'll tell that story.
Yeah.
And he was like, no one wants to hear that.
Nobody.
They want to hear a joke from 1911.
He was like the gold. Watching him on your show was the gold standard of, and he was one of those guys. I didn't know Norm at all. I wish I'd never met him. But I would hear all these great stories. I remember watching him on your show once years ago. It was the dumbest bit, where he was doing something and he made some terrible joke and you went, what? And Andy went, what? And he goes, oh, listen to this guy. He's been downloading male porn all day. and then, like, apropos of nothing, and Andy's like, what?
Mr. Roper. Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Roper?
Yeah.
That's not a good hero.
That's all I got.
Better than this guy's hero is some gay porn actor. Anyway.
What are you talking about? What? What are you saying?
Let me tell you something about gay porn. Seriously. That doesn't mean a guy's gay. I'm not saying that. Because a guy watches gay porn all the time.
Did you cut to a single? Just of Norm, really?
Gay porn. I enjoy gay porn. I'm not gay. Gay porn is a genre that just cuts across all demographics. You know? Young people, old people, straight people, the gay people enjoy it. Everybody likes gay porn. But this guy really likes it. Now they had to bring it back this week, so they had a compromise. They're allowing 1 porno magazine.
Only one, huh?
Only one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the porno magazine that they're putting in is Hairy Guy's Ass Illustrated.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to only allow one, I would think that's the one, you know, probably.
It's a good magazine, though.
It is a good, you know.
It's not. It's not all just pictures of hairy guys' ass.
The articles are good. All right.
See, I just read it for hairy guys' asses.
Well, see, that's you, Andy. Just people are all different.
He was telling me before the show the last week he went to the hairy guy's ass mansion.
It was great. Why didn't you? Andy has all the fun. He gets to all the big celebrity parties.
Right. Him and Jimmy Kahn.
This is one I heard recently, because since when he passed away, you heard all these stories from all these people, but Norm liked to bet. You know, Norm liked to gamble, and he liked to bet, and he borrowed $200 from someone at SNL. And then the person kept coming up to him and saying, "Hey, can I get that $200?" And he's like, I don't know. And in that Norm way, kind of getting out of the room and shambling away in all angles and elbows. And the guy kept asking for it, and the guy went, "Hey, come on, man, that means a lot to me. I had $200. I want my $200." Hey, you lost $200. I lost $5,000. Leave me alone. He's just got yelled at the guy. You think you got problems? I got bigger problems.
What was the most you ever bet on an event?
$400,000.
Who was it on?
Atlanta Falcons against the Denver Broncos, 1990.
What's amazing is people don't realize is that Norm at the time in the 90s when the O.J. trial was going on.
Yeah. Well, let's be clear, we're not cheering the O.J. murder.
Yeah.
Let's just be we're cheering Norm's heroic comedic response to that terrible event.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're on record having said that.
Yeah.
And so he's on the show, and at the time the guy who was running NBC really evidently was friends with OJ, and wanted Norm to stop. So I think maybe a bunch of people here might be too young to appreciate how much Norm's boss was telling him to stop making jokes about OJ, and he was told, you gotta stop. And that weekend, Norm comes out and goes, he's on Weekend Update. He says, it turns out the Los Angeles Police Department admitted today that they had planned to frame O.J. Simpson for those murders until they got to the crime scene, and it turned out he did it.
A shocking new development in the O.J. Simpson case. Late this afternoon, a high-ranking official in the Los Angeles Police Department admitted to Geraldo Rivera that the police did conspire to frame O.J. Simpson for the murders of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman. However, they called the conspiracy off when they got to the murder scene and found that O.J. really did do it. While in England, where he spoke at Oxford University,
Double down.
Yeah, and then he would stare at the camera.
Yeah.
He would stare at the camera and hold, which is this incredible middle finger in comedy.
Incredible.
Turns out he did it. And he would stare at the camera, and even if the crowd wasn't laughing, he would stare at them like, "You heard what I said."
Yeah. And his job was on the line.
Yeah. Well, that's a point that I try to make again and again and again, is that there are a lot of people who talk about being brave in comedy and bravery, and I think, no. The risks of falling off a Segway. But no, it's rare. It doesn't happen that often, but Norm is one of those people, and it doesn't happen that often. People that their careers are hurt by the chances they're taking. Their careers he would do things that would get in the way of him advancing in show business, whether it was his stint on the ESPYs or what he did at SNL. He would do things that would impede him from moving up the ladder, and there are a lot of people that don't take any risks, and then
it's about to go down. We're here to stay and run this town. Bring in the heat, bring in the energy. We're the queens of the festival, can't you see? We're the queens of the festival, here to rule the stage. Dropping beats and make your body engage. From sunrise to sunset, we're taking it all. We're the festival queens standing tall. Ooh, yeah, ooh. From dawn till dusk, we command the crowd's gaze. Every beat, every rhyme sets our souls ablaze. With swagger and style, we own this domain. In the realm of music, we reign supreme, no chain. Feel the rhythm pulsating through your veins. Our verses hidden night, fire never wane. With each lyric we spit, each move we make, we carve our legacy, leaving jaws to quake. We're the queens of the festival, here to rule the stage. Dropping beats and make your body engage. From sunrise to sunset, we're taking it all. We're the festival queens standing tall. Ooh, I get it. Ooh. No crown needed, our all's the crown jewel in the kingdom of sound. We never play the fool with beats as our scepters and rhymes as our decree. We're the sovereigns of rhythm for all to see. So bow down to the queens as we own the night. In the kingdom of music, we're the guiding light. From the first note to the last, we'll always be the festival queens, forever wild and free.
Get credit for being brave, and that's where you lose me, Will, you know? That's
Oh,
really-
wait.
I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, you're talking about me?
No, the different Will.
You're talking about Farrell.
I'm talking about Will Ferrell, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Ferrell.
He's the worst.
He's the worst
He's
guy
such a
you'll ever...
monster.